Hello, cheers, and a good night, everyone. It's Mystic Journeys Monday with our way back reading, and we're gonna pick up back up on the Five Rings of
Way of
Miyamoto
Love.
Musashi.
We're reading
Oh,
Way of Love.
sorry, yes, thank you.
You're good.
And then we're going to at the end of the show, after the show, rather, we're going to watch Ninja Turtles. What was the correct one, Nerdy?
It is the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It is the
Cool, cool,
best
cool.
Ninja Turtles movie, next to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, which is almost as good.
Cool. And
It's
stay
not.
tuned for a
It's not
giveaway later in
equally
the
as
show.
good.
A good portion of
Right.
that Ninja Turtles movie was filmed in Carolina too. That house
No
that they
kidding.
that's in North Carolina near Wilmington, and then a couple of the other places. There's a warehouse that they used and stuff like that. So yeah, that
Coming
is
in
one
with
of
the
my
movie knowledge.
yeah.
Okay, I
Love
like
that.
it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, stay tuned later in the show for our giveaway. We got a great show planned. The Way to Love is the book Nerdy's going to read a little bit out of. We've been reading a little bit out of it every single Monday so far. It's a good book. Starts off with a little bit of scripture and then gets into some philosophical, motivational stuff. And then we'll get back into the Book of Five Rings, give an overview of the Book of Five Rings, and then we'll kind of rip it at the end of the show. Got a mushroom for Nerdy to pick out, see if he can identify. That'll be
I always
fun.
get so nervous. I'm like, oh no, I'm such a fraud. They're gonna find
you
me
know,
out.
it's like playing against a chess master. Though you get nervous, but to me, I'm like,
Yeah, it's
yeah, like
fun.
he's gonna get it. He's gonna get
It's
it, no
fun.
doubt.
It's fun. It gives me good practice. It's like I'm walking up on a mushroom in the woods. I don't know what it is until I get there.
The way I think about it though is like I hope that you do get it. I pretty much expect you to get it, but it kind of like lets everyone get knowledgeable about it. Even since we started doing this kind of thing, I've started to pick out the elites a lot more than I would have ever been able to before, just because of like
Mhm.
recognizing.
I do have to say that like there's going to be some genus of mushrooms where I'm like, sorry, I can just get down to genus. That's it. I really, really can't get further because it's too complex of a genus for me to even really narrow it down. But for the most part, I think I can get down to species. For the most part, with just like a little bit of information. I might have to ask a couple questions to find out a little more details because it's really hard off of just a picture.
Yep, right. I have actually probably the rest of the weeks planned out as well too. Some really cool ones.
Awesome, good. That's what I like to hear.
Cheers, everyone looking on the chat. Cheers, everyone who's here. Let me pull you guys up. Right.
I forgot my purple bandana. I needed my purple bandana for the turtle night.
The rest of the weeks planned out. For Donnie.
Yeah.
Cheers, Oreo, Cyber, Pops. Hey man, I seen you were fishing today, buddy. What's up? That seemed like a good time, dude. Cheers. Nice fish you were catching out there.
Oh
Mike,
yeah.
what's up, buddy? How are you, man? Hope you're having a good day, dude. David, cheers. David's been doing good stuff, making moves, doing good things in life, going the right direction, 100%. Trent, what's up, buddy? I see you up there.
All right. Well, this week we have a decent crowd. I'm going to go ahead and read from The Way to Love.
That'd be great.
This chapter is called The Blind Sea. And the little Bible verse is John 9:39. For judgment I came into this world, that those who do not see may see, and that those who see may become blind. Again, that is John 9:39. It is said that love is blind, but is it? Actually, nothing on earth is as clear-sighted as love. The thing that is blind is not love, but attachment. An attachment is a state of clinging that comes from the false belief that something or someone is necessary for your happiness. Do you have any attachments? People or things that you falsely believe you could not be happy without? Make a list of them right now before we go on to study how exactly they blind you. The big one for me was my dog before he passed. It absolutely broke my heart, and I was pretty miserable for a while, but I've learned to find happiness again. So it was definitely a false belief. Absolutely. I'm happy now without him. I still miss him, but that sorrow and grief comes from a place of love. Uh, I miss my doggo. How about you guys?
You mean as far as with relating to a pet
Do you have any attachment
or just in general?
you can't be happy without?
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is again what we talk about with the three causes of suffering in Buddhism. I talk about this a lot. And my attachments are usually like worldly, things like, money and, you have to have money to be able to have food and shelter, these like monetary, valuable, like living things. I suffer with attaching to this. That's why I try to practice by giving things that are important to me that I like, giving them away,
Mm-hmm.
letting them go.
What you, D?
Derek, what about you?
I think dogs definitely bring us joy.
Oh
They're
yeah.
I call them my little helpers, because that's what they are. They help pick you up when you're in a bad mood or anything like that when you're feeling down. But at the same time, I mean, friends and family, they do the same. And I think it's toxic programming maybe that we try to
Hmm.
push others away, like we distance ourselves when we're hurting. Well, really, we should be pulling others closer to get us out of that funk. You know what I mean? Um, but I mean, those are things that bring me joy is, friends and family and the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And anyone in the chat, feel free to speak up, and we can talk about it when I'm done reading.
The things that
I'll
break
continue.
definitely. Sorry,
Go
hold
ahead.
on before you do. Yeah, the
Yeah.
things that help break me out of that attachment definitely are, the things that are most tribal, the things that are not really worldly, but more like instinctual, like friends and family and music and conversation, things like that.
Right.
That helps me get away from that attachment.
Mm-hmm. I feel
I don't
that.
look at dogs as an attach is not I mean not an attachment, but not a possession really, because I think like they're their
Yeah,
own
exactly.
beings, and I'm their steward to take care of them, the ones that I have.
Hmm.
You know, can't take
Certainly a
care of every
source of
dog.
joy, but the
Yeah,
lack of the dogs, I don't think, is a source of unhappiness.
yeah.
I think exposure to dogs definitely makes me more happy. Absolutely.
To
All
your
right.
point, you can have love without attachment.
Yeah.
I can love
Yeah.
the dog without being
Oh,
attached to it.
yes.
Look
All
at
right.
this little cutie.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now I'll continue. Think of a politician who has convinced himself that he will not be happy unless he gets political power. His quest for power coarsens his sensitivity to the rest of life. He barely has time for his family and friends. Suddenly, all human beings are perceived and reacted to in terms of the support or threat that they are to his ambition. And those who can neither threaten nor support, he does not even notice. If, in addition to his craving for power, he has an attachment to other things like sex or money, the poor man has become so selective in his perceptions that he could almost be said to be blind. Everyone sees this except the man himself. This is the condition that leads to the rejection of the Messiah, the rejection of truth and beauty and goodness, because one has come to be blind to perceive them. Now think of yourself listening to an orchestra in which the sound of the drum is so loud that nothing else can be heard, or cowbell. To enjoy the symphony, you must be responsive to every instrument in the orchestra. To be in the state called love, you must be sensitive to the uniqueness and beauty of every single thing and person around you. You can hardly be said to love what you do not even notice. And if you notice only a few things to the exclusion of others, that is not love at all. For love excludes no one at all. It embraces the whole of life. It listens to the symphony as a whole, not to just one or the other of the musical instruments. Stop for a while now to see how your attachments drained life's symphony no less than the politician's attachment to power and the businessman's attachment to money have harmed them to the melody of life. Or look at the matter in another way. There is an enormous amount of information that is continuously flowing in from the world through the senses, the tissues of the organs of your body. Only a small part of this information reaches your conscious mind. It is like the infinite amount of feedback that is sent to the president of a nation. Only a tiny fraction finally makes its way to him. Somebody does the screening and the processing at the president's office. Who decides what will finally make its way to your conscious mind from all the material that is pouring in from the world? Three decisive filters. First, your attachments. Second, your beliefs. And third, your fears. Your attachments. You will inevitably look for what fosters or threatens them and turn a blind eye to the rest. You won't be interested in the rest anymore than the avaricious businessman is interested in anything that does not involve the making of money. Your beliefs. Just take a look at the fanatic who only notices and confirms what his or her belief and blocks out whatever threatens it, and you will understand that what your beliefs are doing to you. Then your fears. If you knew you were to be executed in a week's time, it would wonderfully concentrate your mind to the exclusion of everything else. That is what fears do. They irresistibly rivet your attention onto some things to the exclusion of others. You falsely think that your fears protect you. Your beliefs have made you what you are, and your attachments make your life exciting and secure. You fail to see that they are actually a screen between you and life's symphony. It is quite impossible, of course, to be fully conscious of every note in life's symphony. But if your spirit becomes unclogged and your senses open, you will begin to perceive things as they really are and to interact with reality, and you will be entranced by the harmonies of the universe. Then you will understand what God is, for you will at last know what love is. Look at it this way. You see persons and things not as they are, but as you are. If you wish to see them as they are, you must attend to your attachments and the fears that your attachments generate. Because when you look at life, it is these attachments and fears that will decide what you will notice and what you block out.
100%.
Whatever you notice then commands your attention. And since your looking has been selective and since your looking has been selective, you have an illusory vision of the things and people around you. The more you live in this distorted version, the more you become convinced that it is the only true picture of the world, because your attachments and fears continue to process incoming data in a way that will reinforce your picture. This is what gives origin to your beliefs, fixed, unchanging ways of looking at a reality, which is not fixed and unchanging at all, but in movement and in change. So it is no longer the real world that you interact with and love, but a world created by your head. It is only when you drop your beliefs, your fears, and the attachments that breed them that you will be freed from the insensitivity that makes you so deaf and blind to yourself and to the world. And that's all.
In Buddhism, the three root causes of human suffering, often called the three poisons, are our lobha, our dosa, or our moha. Our lobha is our greed or our craving. Our dosa is our hatred or aversion, and our moha is our delusion or ignorance. Those are the three causes of suffering in Buddhism. Our greed, our delusions, our greed, our aversion, and our aversion, and our delusions or ignorance.
Let's see what it.
I also have a quote here.
Yeah,
this is from the beginning of what you were reading, as far as like regarding the love. I read this quote today from Kurt Cobain, and this resonated really with the beginning of the reading. It says that no one is afraid of heights; they're afraid of falling down. No one is afraid of saying I love you. They're afraid of the answer. Kurt Cobain.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
good stuff, dude. And
yeah.
that's really what happens. This is why we are adverse to things like love, because of exactly what you said with the dog. It's like we kind of lose it. So we have an aversion because we have this false belief that losing it is worse than having it. You know,
Hmm.
I can probably talk about the concept of, because me, I spoke about how money is like a thing that I think about, and I'm not rich and I don't chase money, but I still do have I have like an attraction to it, just like most people I believe in, especially modern day society. But I think that if you're not as happy to lose $100 as you are to get $100, you're in the wrong mindset, and that's how I keep myself in check, right? Because I use the losing $100 as an opportunity or lesson. Like, so I learned something in that that's just as valuable as gaining $100 ever could be. But do I always nail that? No, not always. But I try to have that mindset. I do think about it every time.
I think everybody's on board with the dog
So
thing.
everybody's saying,
From what I'm reading here in the chat.
Dogs
Everybody's like,
jump up
dogs?
on you.
Yes, dogs. Happy. Uh-huh.
When they jump up on you, I mean, that's kind of that is a off-putting, especially if they got dirty paws and everything, and like, but they just want attention, but they're not probably not getting enough attention, and that's why they're behaving like that, I think, you know. But like one of the things like that you just talked about, Nerdy, was when I had a Doberman for years, and he died of heart complications. And I was really heartbroken, like and I was like, I'm not getting a dog again, not getting a dog again. And then I come across Apollo, and his story was he was going to get put down because nobody wanted him. And I was like, oh, I can't let that happen, you know. So I took him, and he's been a great dog. But yeah, I wasn't ready for a dog. I wasn't ready to love another dog, that soon. And it was months, and it was it was difficult, you know. But that love and lost thing.
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep. You want to read that one, HP? You pulled up?
Yeah, I'll read it. Love without attachment is a difficult idea for me. I think of it in a moment close to death. Wasn't a story flash of my life, but it was thoughts, images of family and loved ones. Yep.
I'd like to share one here
And
from David.
this is kind of I'm glad you're mentioning that, because the opposite end of the spectrum is true too. Like, to be able to stand up for yourself and have respect and honor for yourself, but without having hate attached to it as well. And we're going to talk about it here at the end of the show. Go ahead.
David says, I have attachments too, but detachment is not stopping caring. It's more like being aware of it rather than applying your identity to it or part of yourself to it. Well said.
Beautiful, dude. Well said, man.
And Cyber Jolie says, attachments indeed make life interesting. Yeah, do. But it's
100%.
also the source of your misery. I love my attachments. Trust me, I love these toys, man. I love them. But it also,
Kind of reminds me of that.
if I could give one of these toys to somebody and I see their face light up, it's a little bit better. Then it makes more room on my shelf for more stuff.
Yep. Yeah, it reminds me of the Alexander the Great whenever he meets Diogenes or whatever his name is. But whenever he visited him, he asked him what he could get, whatever he needed. He was the king; he can get him anything he wanted. And he asked him to stand out of his light. That's the only thing he wanted from him. To leave him alone, give him his peace, because he had everything he needed.
Right. Cyber Jolie
Suffering
says
is the absence of love.
absence of love. Yeah, I think that's caused me a lot of suffering. The T. Cruz really, really helped with that.
Or is
Feel
suffering
seen
the
and
absence of accepting the absence of accepting the love. You have to be willing
Yeah.
to take it. Because a lot of times it's around
Understanding
us,
that
but
it's
are we
there
willing?
too.
Yeah.
It's hard when you don't see it in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too. I have struggles with
Or
that. I have to remind myself sometimes for other people.
So I'm still scrolling through these messages here.
Power into this episode today, boys.
Yeah.
You want to do mushroom first, or you want to do reading? What do you want to
Let's do it. Let's see. Let's see what you got. Let's find out.
Go ahead and pull this bad boy
I'm
up.
up for challenge.
Here, I'll pull it up for you.
Okay.
Oh Lord, it never even added it. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. All right,
That's how you
I'll
know.
just show you on my
How
phone.
you know I didn't cheat?
For anybody who thinks.
Everybody thinks I cheat.
Give me just a second here.
He's using Google Lens.
Here we go. Well, here we go. This is pulling up for the first time. There's first visual of this mushroom.
Do you have any more?
Kind of shaggy looking. I do. Yeah, if I try to get at least two, I make sure I have one of the undercarriage.
Is that an agaricus? First of all, is it an agaricus? Am I at least on the right track?
Let me screenshot. I just want to make sure.
This one's a tough one.
Yeah, I wish I had it pulled up for you.
Kind of hard to see on the phone too.
Yeah, I know. Let me just mute up. I'm gonna add it in here in person.
Okay.
You guys just carry on for just a second, okay?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna start looking some different agaricus while you're at it. I think it might be Agaricus Julius, but let me see. Oh, I don't know if it is. Could be. Seems really way too scaly to be Agaricus Julius. I'll wait for more pictures.
I thought it kind of looked like this one.
Like a Amanita pantherina.
You ID'd it before. It was the one I showed you that was in my yard.
Young old man says everything. What's a young old man? What is that? I'm gonna Google. Interesting. I don't know what HP's doing here. He's muted.
I think he's trying to add the picture.
Yeah, I was trying to add it, but it's not going to let me, I don't think. So we're just going to have to do it the way we were just doing it.
Okay.
Unfortunately. You can
go
pull
back
this
to the other view here.
I'll give you a hint to answer your question. No.
Okay.
Again, here's the underside. Somewhere.
So it's a Floccularia. Lutiovirens?
Nope.
But is it Floccularia?
Nope.
Not Floccularia.
It's a guy you know. It's a guy you know and you love. He doesn't normally come in this color, It actually comes in the color of Derek's shirt right there, normally.
Okay, so it's an Amanita pantherina.
Nope.
Is it an Amanita muscaria vargesue?
Nope.
What the hell is it?
You want me to tell you, or you want me to just give you a hint?
Give me a hint.
It starts with a D. Amanita D.
Amanita.
Oh, so I guess I guess okay. So I guess it technically is an agaricus, right? Amanita agaricus. Am I right about that?
Agaricus is different.
Okay.
Is it growing out of a cup?
No.
Let me check my agaricus list again. Let's see. And does it grow in Colorado?
Yes. I'm pretty sure, yes. I'm fairly sure.
Let's see what
Yeah, no. I think it might be the one. I think you were saying that Derek. Yeah, I don't know. Common names: carrot footed, carrot foot, turnip foot.
I'm looking that up now. Carrot foot mushroom. Amanita dosipes.
Cypes.
Amanita dosipes. I have never heard of such a thing. Let me see if it's in Colorado. Amanita.
HP, what are you using to identify it? Are you using lens or?
Well, I'm just picking these mushrooms off the internet directly.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I'm just taking screenshots of the information in the mushroom and then going back.
So-
That's what I was saying. That way we know which one it is.
Okay.
Amanita dosipes. I'm not familiar with this Amanita.
Yeah, but it says agaricus next to it. So
Well, agaricus
Comes
just
to-
basically means it's a guild mushroom.
okay.
It was originally called Agaricus dosipes, but it was then reclassified
Yes.
as Amanita because
Okay.
obviously it's an Amanita and not Agaricus.
Cool.
But Agaricus was a general term, basically meant just guild mushroom back in the day. But let me see where this occurs, where it actually grows.
Okay.
I'm going to use iNaturalist.
It's a rather rare mushroom.
Yeah. You stumped me. So according to iNaturalist, this is an East Coast mushroom and also down in Mexico. So South America and East Coast.
Okay.
And there's some parts of Texas, very, very, very eastern Oklahoma, a little bit in Missouri,
Mhm.
tiny bit in Minnesota, but that's the furthest west it goes. And
Cool.
all the rest is like just way all over the place on the East Coast.
Explains why you didn't know it.
Yeah, I've never encountered it.
Yeah, it's cool, dude.
Here, I'm
Learning a
gonna
new
show
one
my,
today. Cool.
I'm gonna show my map right here.
Just
I'm gonna try to share.
off of first glances here, do we have anybody in the chat who is new here or never doesn't talk much in the chat?
1 second. I'm gonna try to share my screen
Cyber.
and show the map of where this mushroom occurs.
Michael's here. Shroom. Show of hands. Who here hasn't won a giveaway from us ever in the chat? Just throw up a hand or something.
carrot amanita, they call it. Yeah, so
Derek.
that's pretty much the area that it covers. It doesn't occur anywhere west of there, and that's it. But yeah, interesting one. See, that's one of the reasons why I really try to specialize in Colorado, because it's making my life a lot easier. I'm a lazy mycologist. I don't want to I don't want to know every Russula or every Amanita.
Pretty cool.
But it's good to
right.
know those things, because if I ever do encounter
Yeah,
it here
man.
in Colorado, now it'll be on my radar. What's that, Derek?
These are solar lights. They're mushrooms. I got red, blue, and yellow out in the garden.
Very cool. That's probably really cool at night to go out there.
Yeah. Yeah, they light up nicely.
Cheers, guys.
Trying to get caught up in my good hellos.
Yeah, thank you everyone for being here.
Yeah, Shroom Digger's here. We got Kim. We got MVP. We got Michael Allen. Dude, everybody's here tonight.
Wow.
I can't really get caught up on typing everyone's names out, so I'm just going to shout you out. All right, man. It's a good night. That makes me happy. All the cool people are here. All the cool kids.
Alan just shared some pictures of his, what were they, lion's mane and oysters, I believe.
Nice.
Looking good.
Nice.
Nice.
Kim and Mike are here. I may as well pull up the reminder for Rocky Mountain Mush Fest. Don't forget, guys, be there or be square. 4th annual Rocky Mountain Mush Fest in Colorado City, Colorado, July 16th to 19th. If anybody needs a B&B, Kim and MVP just canceled theirs. So reach out to them. They've got the inside information on where you can stay. It's a big house. A lot of people could come together and share it if they wanted to. But yeah, I hope to see a lot of you at Rocky Mountain Mush Fest this year. It's going to be the biggest one yet. I can just tell. I'm excited for it, really. You know, the first Rocky Mountain Mush Fest really set the Colorado Myco League in motion to become what it is. I started doing my events locally around Colorado after that first Mush Fest, or Rocky Mountain Mush Fest. And we're gonna have T-shirts, and if anybody wants to submit a T-shirt idea for the Rocky Mountain Mush Fest this year, I just ask one thing. It needs to originate from your art. There's a few people that submitted some art already, Kim and Sharon Murdoch, and they get a big pass because this art started from their photographs. So at least it started from their own originality. And then I see it as what they did is they basically used AI as a filter, kind of like you would in Photoshop. But I don't want something that's completely generated from AI. I want something that's actually got like a little bit of you in it. So this art here was done by my daughter. So I'm really, really proud of it. But I don't want it to be exclusively just her because I'm biased for her. The other designs we have right now are Bishop's Castle related. If anybody can submit a design, just please. I want an element of like your art.
Hey, you should mention that it's just the foreground art as well. So
yeah, this is just the foreground art. This mountains in the background is actually here. I'll change the background so everybody can see.
This is like a preset picture.
This is just a combination of my daughter's art along with I added the text. Let's see here. Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
The white background here.
Rocky Mountain Mush Fest. You guys come see us, man. We're gonna have a good time.
There we go. That's better. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. I hope everybody comes. The event is free, but I would definitely welcome any and all donations. Just make sure you reach out to me and I can get you a donation link. Anything you donate will go directly toward the Rocky Mountain Mush Fest and making it the best event we possibly can. Just make sure you let me know what you want me, that's for Rocky Mountain Mush Fest and not just for generic, Colorado Michael League event stuff. Because it helps. Because I've got all sorts of expenses for the Colorado Michael League too. I love donations.
All right. If you don't mind, here in just a second, I'll.
You had some 5 ring stuff, right?
Yeah, I want to give a little introduction here, and then I want to go through each of the books: the Book of Water, Book of Fire, so on. Just a little overview of them. Quick overview of each one. You got anything else in the comments?
Let's see. Just processing some of this information, some biblical comments here. All right.
Cheers, guys.
Okay. Yeah, Kim, make sure you cancel that so you don't get charged. But yeah, Kim's got the inside info. Make sure you reach out if you need a place to stay. My wife and kid may or may not be there. They've been on the fence this whole time. I'm going to be there regardless. I'm planning on camping. We're gonna hanging out by the campfire with all my friends and family. My wife and kid, they might end up getting a hotel room. There's some cheap hotels out there. No hard, whatever. They're gonna have fun regardless.
Campfire conversations are the best.
Yes.
It'll take some time, dude. All right, guys. We're back on the Book of 5 Rings. That we picked up from Friday. I joined in a little bit late, so I'm going to do it today, and we figured it would be a nice match because it's our movie night Monday, so we're on Discord. Nerdy, I'm sure we'll drop a link here for the Discord here in just a second if you guys want to come over and watch. But it's for Ninja Turtles. Kind of goes along with the ninja mentality. Miyamasa Musashi, whatever. We're going to talk a little bit about each of the books from the Book of 5 Rings, and a little bit about him and some quotes from him as well. It's about maybe a 10 or 15 minute reading here, so you guys buckle up, and then we'll finish out the rest of the show with a little bit casual talk. Miyamasa Musashi's Book of 5 Rings is a popular historical book on Kenjutsu, martial arts, and philosophy. However, the book is not only used for Japanese historians and martial artists, but it's also a book that contains lessons that can be valuable to most anyone. It's a small book, and if you get your hands on it, I highly recommend flicking through it. And my copy is a translation from William Scott Wilson, which I highly recommend if you're unsure. In this article, I'll take you through a quick summary of the author, Japanese swordsman Miyamasa Musashi, and a summary of the book's core message. We'll also end up on a more practical note and go through how to apply Musashi's lessons in our own lives to help us grow as people, flow with the timing of the world, find our purpose in our work, and become more adaptable to challenges. We already covered this in the last show, so we'll skip over that. Here's a quote from Musashi. Both in fighting and in everyday life, you should be determined, though calm. Kind of like we were just talking about with the idea of love. Meet the situation without tenseness, yet not recklessly. Your spirit settled, yet unbiased. Even whenever your spirit is calm, do not let your body relax. And when your body is relaxed, do not let your spirit slacken. Do not let your spirit be influenced by your body, or your body be influenced by your spirit. An introduction to the Book of the 5 Rings. Around the year 1645, martial artist Japan's most renowned swordman, Miyamasa Musashi, wrote the Book of 5 Rings. It's a text on the fundamental principles of Kenjutsu and correct mindset, martial arts, and philosophy. The book's core philosophy centers around turning a pursuit into a way of life, and understanding that when we become competent in one discipline, the skill carries over into all others. In the book, he writes, "If you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything." This idea, and the way that in which Musashi explains it, has led people to apply the book's teachings in all areas of life, from martial arts to business. The simplicity of Musashi's approach is likely a part of this success, casting aside unnecessary frills of life and actions that have no practical purpose on focusing only on those that get us from A to B most effectively. Do nothing which is of no use is another quote from him. In Musashi's case, he was concerned with martial arts, sword fighting, the two sword fencing style that we talked about. And this was about cutting down his opponent as quickly as possible while minimizing risk to himself. In a more modern application, this could be applied to making efficient business decisions. The best way to achieve the goal is to run a marathon or building better relationships. The Book of the Five Rings reflects on the lessons Musashi students in his own dojo, while Musashi adapted many of the ideas from other sources, and he added his own interpretations and unique insight to make the Book of Five Rings a personal and unique body of work. Split into 5 books, each book is dedicated into different physical elements described as earth, water, fire, wind, and the Book of the Void. The Earth chapter serves to explain a different element of Musashi's philosophy. The Book of Earth. It lays a fundamental foundation of Musashi's philosophy and strategy, and sort of an introduction into the way of the warrior and the principles of the man's strategy. The Book of Water. The Book of Water describes Musashi's specific martial art techniques and the principles of swordsmanship, and it explains the importance of flexibility and adaptability, similar to water. If you're old enough to remember Bruce Lee, this will be familiar. We talk about this in Taoism, be water. The Book of Fire. The Book of Fire goes over the heat of battle, covering the importance of aggression and initiative. And it's about understanding the dynamics of combat, gaining an advantage over one's enemy and seizing the moment. The Book of Wind critiques and analyzes the techniques of philosophies and of other schools of swordsmanship. And here Musashi points out the danger of adhering too rigidly to a specific style. The Book of Void represents Musashi's spiritual and philosophical ideas, and it deals with the nature of true reality, stressing the importance of intuition and understanding the deeper aspects of life. The Book of Earth. In the Earth chapter, Musashi speaks about the introduction of the way and outlines the strategies of his teachings to his students. Musashi writes of knowing the world around you and the importance of seeing clearly. Know the smallest things and the biggest things, the shallowest things and the deepest things, as if it were a straight road mapped out on the ground. These things cannot be explained in detail. From one thing, know 10,000 things. When you attain the way of the strategy, there will not be one thing you cannot see. You must study hard. This strategy outlined in the Book of Earth is aimed at enabling his students to see the world clearly and make best decisions for the given student. For example, when to use various types of weapons based on the terrain or available space, this requires not only the knowledge of how to use each weapon, but also where and why. In the Book of Earth, Musashi also places the importance of timing and writing. Timing is important in dancing and pipe or string music, for they are the rhythm only if timing is good. Timing and rhythm also involved in the military arts, shooting bows and guns and riding horses. In all skills and abilities, there's timing. There's timing in the whole there's timing in the whole life of the warrior, in thriving and declining, in his harmony and discord. Similarly, there's timing in the way of the merchant, and the rise and fall of capital. And all things entail rising and falling and timing. You must be able to discern this. In strategy, there are various timing considerations. From the onset, you must know the applicable timing and inapplicable timing from among the large and small things and the fast and slow timings. Find the relative timing. First, seeing the distance timing and the background timing. This is the main thing in the strategy. It is especially important to know the background timing, otherwise your strategy will become uncertain. The book ends with the list of 9 principles describing a foundation on which a person must be built, a practical guide to building and maintaining character. I know you touched on this on the last episode on Friday. Do not think dishonestly is number 1. Number 2, the way is in training. Number 3, become acquainted with every art. Number 4, know the ways of all professions. 5, distinguish between gain and loss in worldly matters. 6, develop an intuitive judgment and understanding for everything. 7, perceive those things which cannot be seen. Number 8, pay attention to evil trifles. Number 9, do nothing which is of no use. The Book of Water. The Book of Water concerns itself with the idea that water can be used as an analogy for the flow and adaptive nature of life. It also covers some of the basic techniques of Musashi's fighting style. Water shifts to fit the container it's poured into, much like a person can learn to adapt to their surroundings rather than remain rigid and awkward. Unable to shift quickly between disciplines and thoughts whenever faced with challenging information and circumstances, Musashi also promotes the need for spiritual balance, writing, and strategy. Your spiritual bearing must not be any different from normal. Both in fighting and in everyday life, you should be determined, though calm. Musashi teaches that a spirit in perfect balance is also a physical presence in perfect balance. A presence that does not create weakness in the individual does not reveal weakness to the enemy. During a battle, Musashi places importance on maintaining your spiritual balance. The Book of Fire. The Fire chapter refers to the art of fight and is written in such a way that is focused more specifically on fighting than the other chapters in the book. And while it doesn't provide any specific fighting techniques, it does look at martial arts from a bird's eye view, instructing one to observe their surroundings, process the situation, and act accordingly. Here's a quote from him. A reading says, "As one man can defeat 10 men, so can 1,000 men defeat 10,000 men. However, you can become a master of strategy by trading alone with a sword so that you can understand the enemy's strategies, his strengths, and his resources to come to apply a strategy how to beat 10,000 enemies." Musashi described the importance of positioning during battle, circling the non-dominant side of your enemy, forcing your opponent into unfavorable ground, and trying to create uncertainty in them. He also explained that one's vision must be clear of obstruction from things like buildings and unblinded by sunlight and moonlight, as well as the importance of the high ground, writing, "You must look down on the enemy and take up your attitude on slightly higher places. These things cannot be clearly explained in words. You must research what is written here. In these ways of forestalling, you must judge the situation. This does not mean that you're always attacked first, but if your enemy attacks you first, you can lead him around. In strategy, you have effectively won whenever you forestall the enemy, so you must train well to attain this." The Book of Wind. The Book of Wind chapter, Musashi changes his focus a little from writing on individual techniques and strategies covered in the earlier books to a broader and more philosophical aspects of martial arts and strategy. The term wind can be interpreted metaphorically, representing the invisible and intangible elements of strategy and combat. However, in the Book of Wind, Musashi warns the over-reliance of one set of tools and the lack of flexibility that comes with it. He wrote, "Some of the other schools have a liking for extra long swords. From the point of view of my strategy, these must be seen as weak schools. This is because they do not appreciate the principles of cutting the enemy by any means." The warning of over-reliance is one way can be applied to almost anything, and it's a reminder to think and learn broadly. It's kind of our fifth agreement. You just got to go learn to listen. The ideas of adaptability, open-mindedness, and the concept of no style are parts of this book that we can learn to apply in our own lives. And this is especially true given how quickly the world is changing right now. The Book of Void. The final book in Musashi's Book of Five Rings is the Book of Void, a short book that links the philosophies of which we can see now and that we cannot be seen. By knowing things that exist, you can know that which is not clear. The book is about people learning to perceive what cannot be seen or understood, such as spirituality and things that are based more on instinct than knowledge. In the void is virtue, no evil, Wisdom has wisdom has existence. Principle has existence. The way has existence. Spirit has nothingness. Understanding the concept of the void. Beyond technique and knowledge, in the Book of the Void, Musashi moves beyond the tangible aspects of martial arts, exploring something that is neither visible nor tangible. This represents the accumulation of martial arts mastery, where the mind is free from obstructions and distractions. Bruce Lee references the same concept when he says, "Be like water." The state of absolute freedom. The void is a state of absolute freedom and spontaneity. It is to the point where a warrior acts without conscious thoughts or hesitation. This concept is not just about combat, but a way of life, symbolizing the ultimate level of mastery in any field. And this can be thought as a flow state. I talk about this on Riffing with HB. I don't know if you guys have caught me talking about that. Whenever bands are on stage and they're communicating with people, it's like, they're in a flow state. They're sharing one brain. Number 3 here says, embracing nothingness. Embracing the void is about understanding that true wisdom and understanding coming from a place beyond conventional knowledge. It's a state of being that transcends the physical and enters the spiritual. So that's the end right there. We talked a little bit before about how to apply this to our life on Friday. You guys can go back and watch that if you want to catch the very end of that article. But yeah, I like it. And if it's something that you guys think can be applied to your life, it's definitely something that you should be able to read. But we talked about how it's something that you should really read one sentence at a time. What I recommend for people to do is just power through it, read it all the way through, get an idea of what it's about, then go back through from the beginning. Read it one sentence at a time and just ponder on that sentence that he talks about for a second, and then read another sentence. He even says in the book to read it word for word, which is really powerful because it makes you think how intently it was written, word for word, and what we can pick up from it. I love it. Stuff that I think I can benefit from in my life, because as much as I don't want to fight and don't like fighting, I think there's tons of things I can apply that in my life with. I can make myself a better person if I thought like a fighter and had the spirit of a fighter, even though I wasn't. It's the quote of Musashi we talked about. It's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in the war. I want to have the spirit of a fighter and a warrior, even though I'm not in the war. I still want to have the heart of a warrior and then the mind of a warrior too, right? Mm-hmm. Huge difference.
The Water book teaches you how to make your enemy's body and face become rideable.
Rideable or writable?
Rideable. You want to ride your enemy's face and body. Sorry. If you are intent on stabbing at his face and body will become rideable. When the body becomes rideable, there are various opportunities for winning.
The Water book. For sure.
Sorry, I'm just very
the important thing is
one tiny little itty bitty bit.
And again, we talked about this. I think this is the hardest part for people to swallow.
So I was like yeah. I'm a middle schooler. Little middle schooler. Right space.
Yeah, but this is the hardest part for people to swallow, I think, for this whole book, because it's like, how can you be peaceful but yet you talk about killing? Like, how can you kill but not? Yeah, right. But obviously, from what Musashi says, you can see that he was really serious in his ways. He wasn't attached to his feelings or emotions. See, do I have the quote on here by chance?
And Jolie said it quite well. We need to be warriors for what's coming.
Right.
And everyday life, we are warriors in our everyday life. We are fighting for ourselves and representing ourselves. If you're 100%. Not, other people's going to define your life for you.
Exactly right. And they'll take what you have, and they're savages, and they have no heart, they have no soul, and they're going to act with vengeance and hate. And if you're only acting out of love, hate and vengeance will win in the short term. Like for someone trying to come and attack you and harm you and take what's yours, it won't win. Obviously, love is powerful, but for the short term, being a savage will totally outbeat your love. So what we should do is set aside our love, not pick up hate, but use our strategic mind, our warrior mind and warrior hearts to do what we have to do without any attachments.
The word love is such a general word. Like, there's so many different types of love. It's not really being very definitive and very accurate when a lot of us.
I agree, man.
There's so many different.
It's a funny word, isn't it? Yes, sir. Only word. It says the
We
student
all have
talked to
different
his
experiences with it
master and
too.
asked him, say again?
And we all have different experiences with that word too. So we all have different definitions.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And with different ways we receive love and give love, 100%. They're actually different languages of love. The student said here to his master, "You're teaching me fighting, but you talk about peace. How do you reconcile the two?" The master replied, "It's better to be a warrior in the garden than to be a gardener in the war."
It's true.
And that's from Musashi. 100%. And there are people that I love the ability. Look, we live in a free country and it's a beautiful world. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's to the point where you can be whatever we want to be. If you want to live your life as a peace warrior and never get in a fight, never get in a conflict, it's nice. But it's always nice to have the ability to be able to stand up for your people and your family, your friends whenever evil comes. Not if it comes, but when it comes. We're going to watch Ninja Turtles here in a little bit, and it's kind of the whole idea of being a hero and the philosophy of doing what's right, what other people are afraid to do, what other people can't do, what other people don't want to do, whatever the case is, right? They step up and they do it, being a hero, but they do it with a true heart, which is rare because a lot of
Obviously,
people are doing it out of greed and hate.
the turtles aren't doing what they're doing for recognition or fame. They're doing it in the shadows.
Because they live in the sewer. Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're obviously doing it for the right reasons. They're doing it for
Yeah.
good. Did you have any of those clips of that
I'm about to
psychotherapist?
pull some. Give
I
me
love
just like
that
a
guy.
minute here. So I'm gonna.
He has some great perspectives on the turtles, and almost all of his perspectives are coming from like the 1990 movie, the first and second turtle movie.
Can you tell me about Raphael and his relationship with Master Splinter?
Raphael and Splinter?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So Raphael has this tendency to isolate. He has a lot of big feelings, lots of aggression, lots of anger.
Yeah.
And he'll do this like silent fume and then explode thing.
Yeah.
And Master Splinter gives him concrete feedback on that. You know, like he waits up late at night for Raph to get home. He confronts him and tells him, you know, that he's isolating. But then he lets him know that he's in his corner, that he has his back, that Raphael doesn't have to process this alone, that he can come to Splinter. So he matches that challenge and support really well, which I think is exactly what Raphael needs. So shout out to Master Splinter, Cowabunga.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. This is Turtle Psych. If you haven't noticed, we played him on the show a couple of times. It's really good stuff, actually.
One problem I have with the turtles is they're not good tippers. Not at all.
He extorted him.
They were excited their pizza was late, so they just gave the guy like exact change. And, you know, they got a discount because it was late. You know,
Yep.
so I mean, you order a pizza, tip your driver.
Tip your driver. But there was wisdom in that moment too.
This is a really cool way. Yeah.
Forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for a late pizza.
Never pay full price for a late pizza,
but
brother.
you know, and he still loved the dude. But you know, it's sorry, dude. You have a policy about, you know, if you're late, you don't pay full price.
It's
just the way it is.
I don't respect myself. No one will. Yeah, 100%.
That dude rode away. That dude rode away, though. You know, questioning his career choices, though, didn't he?
Yes, he definitely did.
Let me. This is one on Unconditional Love, and I'll go back and I'll play that one for you that you were just mentioning. This is a really good one.
Yo. Oh.
Can you talk about unconditional love in the Turtles?
Oh. Wow, that's a good one. Unconditional love. Holy smokes. You know, the other day I got home and I was rewatching the end scene of the TMNT 1990 movie, the original one.
Yeah.
And Casey Jones is helping Splinter, who's just been out of captivity. Splinter can like barely walk. He's been starved for days. And they look up and the turtles are fighting Shredder and they're getting their butts kicked. And they've just surrendered their weapons because Leo is pinned. by Shredder. And so they're looking up, and Casey starts to say, hey, it looks like your boys really need. He looks back, Splinter's already gone. Splinter's already on the way. He can barely walk, he can barely move, but he saw his boys needing help, and he was already there. And that just caught me. That just caught me off guard. Splinter's dedication and consistent care for the turtles creates secure attachment for them that they can come back to and draw from again and again and again. And that's kind of that theme of that first movie, is you see how Splinter's unconditional love and care for the turtles is this source for them that they return to gain a sense of identity, to gain strength, and it gives them a sense of cohesion. And so I think unconditional love not only helps us find a sense of identity, but it helps us find a sense of cohesion and unity amongst ourselves. It's something we can pass along.
Yeah,
It's something that
no
I can let
doubt.
begin with me, and we can pass it along. So,
Yep.
Cowabunga.
It's like a seed that grows. 100%. Well said, dude.
Totally.
Yeah, I'll go back and play that one real fast for you.
Yeah, no, dude. Kids, do not judge. Like he says, one of his most famous lines when he skates to go get pizza, pizza guy's running late, and he's like, wise man say, forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza. That's good, yeah? Like unconditional love, but with boundaries. I can be assertive and clear, but still have unconditional love.
Yep.
Well,
Cowabunga, dude. Good stuff. You can't ride that shit. Even though they do, actually. Yep, really good. Yeah, did you drop the Discord link in there by chance? I'll grab it.
I did just a moment ago.
Perfecto. You guys know where to join us, then.
Let's see here.
Yep, really.
Yeah, the turtles, man. There's so much there that we could honestly go for hours and hours and hours talking about just the turtles alone.
And we
about,
shall.
How that each of the turtles represent one of the four humors, like in the Chinese medicine.
Yes.
Just so many different levels to it. So many levels to it.
We've talked a little bit about this on the show already. We talked about it with the medicine wheel and Indian medicine, or Indian culture rather, and how it relates to the Chinese medicine wheel and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very Buddhist, very Zen, very. I dude, I like to wrap myself in all culture. I love Jamaican, I love Sweden, I love Australia, I love all different cultures. But what's really important for me is the Eastern mysticism, Eastern practices, because it is so important, because people have sat around for thousands of years trying to figure out life. They wrote it down in a book, and there's different things we can take from these different cultures. And I feel like here in America, we shun away from it so much because Christianity is so powerful that we choose to just accept Christianity and to push out all the other things. But we can take little things from all religions, even if we don't believe in them or don't want to follow them. There's still plenty of beautiful things we can take from these other religions. And Buddhism and Taoism and Hinduism, great backbones of religion and spirituality. Great stuff in there. How to live a good, great life. And then you can mold it and adapt it and pick little things and add things and take things, whatever you want, as long as you're following the four main agreements, as long as you don't break and bend those four main agreements.
Exactly. Well said. If you guys like the show tonight, make sure you like, subscribe, and tell your friends.
I appreciate y'all being here.
All right. So I think we've got about 20 minutes, and we're all going to be meeting back up over in the Discord and watching the movie. I think we can go ahead and call it a night and let the outro play. Love y'all.
Yeah,
Thanks
you
for
guys
coming.
hang around and say goodbye and watch the outro. And you guys have a good rest of your night. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you, everyone, for being here.